Hey guys, so sorry I'm a day late with this weight loss video. Anyway, yesterday I completed my 7th week on Weight Watchers, and so I'm currently in my 8th week. And my 7th week somehow was not so good. I ended up putting on 1/4 of a pound. And I know it's like, ooh, bless you. My baby's right behind me. Bless you. Yeah, I know it's like a minuscule amount of weight, and I'm not really worried or bummed out because it's so small, and really once you start putting out an effort to lose weight, you're eventually going to have a gain somewhere, because something that I've learned is that weight is not a static thing. You're constantly in flux, and especially as women, you know, we can fluctuate in weight up to sometimes like 5 pounds a day. I know that can be normal for me, depending on where I am in my cycle. So yeah, you know, it's kind of a bummer that I didn't lose weight last week and that I didn't even stay the same, but I gained a little. However, I don't feel too bad about it because it's so small. It can be easily rectified. So what do I think I did wrong last week? Well, not wrong. What could I have done better? I try to stay positive. I was not as active last week as I usually am. I usually walk about 30 minutes to an hour every day, and last week I only got out like 4 days. So there was that. We also had some family friends over on Sunday, and there was a lot of food, and I actually thought I did pretty well, but because it was a special occasion, there was a buffet set up, and when there's something like that, no matter how good you are, if you're hovering around the food, you're probably going to end up unconsciously putting a few things in your mouth that you don't track. So that was part of it, plus not being as active as usual. So this week, my goals really are to keep consistent with my level of activity, to keep my fluid levels up, and not to use as many of my weekly reserve points. I used a lot of them last week to compensate for food at the party, and that was probably it as well, because I used more of my weekly allowance points last week than I ever have. I still had about 20 remaining, which is a sizable amount, but it set a negative precedent because I just hadn't used that many before. And it's, you know, you expect to lose weight, or at least not gain any weight, if you stay within your points range, but everybody is different, and I am not hugely overweight, so I probably should not be using any of the reserve points if I can help it. So what I'm doing is now I am eating the correct amount of points for my height and weight, which is 26 points a day, and even though I'd still be allowed 49 weekly allowance points, I am lowering that. I'm not sure how much I want to restrict it yet, because I'm sure I still would want to use some of my weekly allowance points, but I want to restrict how many I can use. 49 is way too much. So I will probably end up restricting it to about 15. And that may seem like a huge drop from 49, but in reality, looking back on my successful weeks, I never used more than 10 or 15 of my weekly reserve points. So if I set myself a limit, looking on what I've done in the past, then I can set some successful goals for myself. Yeah. This weekend's going to be hard as well, because we are going up north to visit one of my husband's grandmothers, and she always has a ton of sweets and fattening snacks laid out. So I have made my husband and my in-laws promise me that they will shield me from the food. Hold on, the phone is ringing. So anyway, sorry about that. He's has a break today between a couple of his tutorials at school, so he always calls on his break to say hello. Yeah, Ronan, my baby, has the hiccups. Anyway, let's see, where was I? Talking about, yeah, this weekend's going to be a little bit difficult, and Then the weekend after that is the weekend before we go to LA, and we have family coming to visit here. So there's going to be food. It's a few hard weekends, and then once we're in Los Angeles, my family is going to try to stuff us full of food. So I have a very, very challenging remainder of 2011. Hopefully I won't fall into a pit of failure. It should be fine. I think when I'm out in LA, I'm not really going to try to lose weight. I'm going to try to maintain my weight. I think that's the best I can do without, completely falling off the wagon and without having to exclude myself from social eating. It's a big part of vacation, it's a big part of family time, it's a big part of the holidays, and I come from a Jewish family. We're all about food. So yeah, I think I'm just going to try to maintain my weight. Hopefully this week will be more successful than last week was. I will be content if I lose the 1/4 of a pound that I gained. I'm hoping to lose more, but if I don't lose any more than that, then I'm content. So yeah, I think I will show you guys what I look like, just to be consistent. Right, so I know the amount I gained is tiny and completely imperceptible, but I figure I'll show what I look like anyway because it'll help keep me accountable. So I'm pretty sure I look exactly the same from last week, though because I know I'm a tiny bit heavier, I feel bigger just because I think that's the way my psychology works. Yeah, I'm just wearing a t-shirt and leggings because I'm gonna go take the baby out for a walk. I'm really hoping to lose this bit of pudge right here that is left over from the pregnancy. Yep. Pretty sure there's been no change at all in the back. Sorry, I had to get Ronan. He has the hiccups and it was starting to distress him. Anyway, it was not a successful week for me, but I'm just trying to remain thankful that it was not any worse and that I didn't even gain 1/2 pound. Yeah, in a way I'm thankful because it will keep me from becoming stagnant and I can completely reassess my patterns and my strategy. So I'll see you guys next week and hopefully I'll have lost what I've gained and maybe even more. Say bye-bye. Hiccup.